Welcome to the first webinar in a series that I think are coming to you every Wednesday. Before we get going and do introductions, Zoe's just going to do a welcome to country for us.
Yeah, we wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we're meeting on. For us, that's the Ngunnawal people, and respect their continuing culture and contribution they make to the life of this city and this region. We'd like to acknowledge and welcome other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who may be attending today's event.
Awesome. So basically, we're going to talk a little bit about who we are, but also feel free to submit any questions you have for us as well. There's a Q&A feature on your Zoom, so just type it in. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We are 3 current ANU students. So yeah, let's go. We'll jump into some introductions. Zoe, can you start?
Yeah, so my name's Zoe and I study a flexible double degree of a Bachelor of International Relations and a Bachelor of Political Science with a minor in Arabic. And I'm from Canberra. Next.
Yeah, so I'm Max. I'm in my 4th year. I'm doing a double degree in International Security Studies and Arts, and I'm also doing a Diploma of Languages. I'm currently doing a German major and an Italian major. Yeah, and I'm from a really small country town. It's actually called Maxville in New South Wales. So if anyone knows that, that's cool. But yeah, Emma?
Awesome. I'm Emma. I am in my 4th year of also a flexible double degree. It's the theme of the night here. I do science and environment sustainability, and I moved from Melbourne to come live in Canberra. So yeah, that's where we've come from. Max and I have both lived on campus as well. So if you have any questions about the residential experience, what it's like to move away from home and study at ANU on campus, feel free. And Zoe is here to offer the local perspective as well.
And I also took a gap year on my way to ANU. So if you do have questions about how that works, if I can talk about that as well, about if that's something that you're not sure about how that works. That's my path.
Maybe to get going, why don't we just have a look at why we all chose to come to ANU?
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to start?
Max,
Yeah.
Take it away.
All right, I guess I can start. So coming from a country town, like having a interest in international relations-esque subjects and then languages, I found that ANU was one of the only universities in Australia that you could actually study multiple languages at the same time within a double degree, and so that really drew me here. I think also living on campus as well, that was really something I worried about. If I wanted to say move to other places, and I was and so I was thinking, oh, ANU on campus, guaranteed spot for any interstate students in the first year. And yeah, and when I came down to do a campus tour, I just fell in love with Canberra. It was just I found it a really nice transition city, especially coming from a rural area. So yeah.
Awesome. Zoe?
Well, when I finished year 12, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and kind of the name flexible double degree really sold that flexibility to me because I was worried about committing to something, but ANU's flexibility was really something that drew me in. And as I kept looking through the options, I thought I came across international relations and realized that that's something that I really wanted to do. And there's no other place like ANU to study international relations. The more I looked into it, the opportunities you couldn't find in any other state. So that's what really drew me to stay in Canberra and to study at ANU, just because of the opportunities that the international relations had, and political science, because you're in the heart of it. There's nowhere better really. So that's, I think, really what got me coming to ANU.
It's really cool, and it's a pretty common area of study.
Yeah. Which is something that I didn't realize, but it's so nice being surrounded by so many students that share a common interest, which is something so different from high school. You don't always get that in your high school classroom, but then you come to uni and everyone's there to study the same thing and they all share your interest. That's something that's been really nice, I think, that being surrounded by people that also love it just adds to the experience, I guess. Yeah, what about you, Emma?
A lot of different things, I think, brought me to ANU, but I suppose the main one being what Max already touched on is this full university experience. So not only could I study something that I was really, really passionate about, but I could also live on campus, which meant moving away from home, getting a whole bunch of skills and experience, that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to have, just to kind of learn and grow in such a supportive and also fun environment. Living on campus is awesome. There are so many activities you get to do. There's like sports events, arts events. You can do leadership activities within the halls and residences that you live on. I've just, had the best 3 years living on campus. And then, my degree, flexible double degree as well. Can't really do that at a lot of universities around Australia. So it just kind of, all the pieces fell together, and it just was the perfect uni at the time, and it remains the perfect uni for me for this day. So hopefully that kind of helps you all understand how we ended up here. Feel free to keep submitting your questions through. We've got a couple. This is good. Keep them coming. All right. The first one we have is, can we get scholarships for accommodation? So it's a really good question. I know financial constraints and concerns are a really common issue, topic amongst everyone, even us still to this day. So maybe Max, do you have any insights?
So actually in my first year of uni, I was actually got an equity scholarship, and that was really helpful, because one of the things, coming from a country town, moving so far away to university, I was like, how am I going to pay for pay for my rent and that kind of thing? And that just really helped me out, and kind of it allowed me to enjoy my first year and not worry too much about money. And and one back scholarship was I applied through UAC, so it was just it was assessed automatically, but obviously with the entrance, the application is now a bit different. But
so with the direct applications, there's sort of more information around that that you can look into and have a bit more of an understanding when you do apply. But the direct applications are sort of set up to give you some more information about that, and make sure that you are able to find all the options that are available to you to help with that, which is something really cool about the direct application that we didn't have when we were applying. I didn't have
I didn't have that option.
That takes a lot of the stress out.
For sure. Put in an early application for ANU, be considered for over 200 scholarships. Pretty good deal. And a lot of the scholarships, it's sort of not necessarily, every scholarship is a bit different, but you kind of will just get a set amount of funding, either distributed across the year. So if you want to put that to accommodation, you are definitely able to. In fact, a lot of people do, because you put your degree fees on to your HEX help loan. So most of sort of scholarship funding does go to accommodation. I also want to just quickly touch on, it's a little bit different at every hall and residence, but I did end up getting 2 scholarships during my time on campus. So in first year, I didn't have any, but when in my second year, I joined the residential committee at my hall. So my hall has a little kind of small fee associated, a small payment associated with that. So for the work that I did for my hall, I got a small amount of money from that. And then there are senior residences at the halls and residence, and they are on, or some other positions are presidents, treasurer, secretary. They're all on various scholarship funding positions. So if you kind of really enjoy the on-campus experience, want to give back to the hall that you live in, senior residents are partial care support. So we have training in first aid, mental health, things like that. So that scholarship pretty much covered most of my living costs in my third year. So that was really awesome. And if it's something it sounds like you're interested in, definitely recommend keeping it in mind. Hopefully that kind of covers a little bit about, your scholarships question. We've got another one coming in. So for somebody looking to move from Sydney, would you recommend living on campus or off campus in your first year? That's a really great question. Anyone feel given this one?
Well, I think the first thing to touch on is that as part of being a first year student at ANU, if you are relocating to Canberra there and you apply within the deadlines, there is a accommodation guarantee that guarantees you a bed on campus, which is sort of really valuable for making sure that you have an easy transition to ANU. As someone who comes from Canberra, I think that I've had an amazing experience off campus, but that being said, I've done I spend a lot of time on campus because all my friends sort of live here. And so it kind of depends on what you're looking for out of your experience. But from what I could see, I would definitely, you guys have had amazing experiences on campus. I'd definitely recommend on-campus accommodation. Yeah. What about you? What do you?
Yeah, I guess like for me, like I love living on campus, and I think, you know, provide like, I guess Emma and I have so many opportunities to like make friends, you know, participate in like activities and just like, yeah, socialize. Like I really enjoyed it. And I guess like one of the things you need to consider about like living either on campus or off campus, you get out what you put in as well. So I think that's probably another really important thing to consider. But like I love living on campus, like the convenience. Like I lived at uni, it was like a 10-minute walk into the city, like to go grocery shopping, you know. I'd like my own little kitchenette and like cooked food and stuff, which was really fun. And I feel like either way you're still going to like have a good experience, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good point. You really do get out what you put in, basically. So everyone's experience is going to be different. But if you have the choice to live on campus, at least for a year, I would definitely recommend it. Just because moving away from home can be a big step in a lot of people's lives. And moving on campus, you're going into a supportive residence. There's everything you need close by. Like Max said, you've got food to go shopping. You've got, like, we had shopping trips organised within our hall. There's pastoral care support if you're just feeling stressed and overwhelmed with the transition. And I think the best thing as well is everybody who lives in a hall and residence has also been through the same thing. So they've left their friends, they've left their family behind. They're looking to make friends. Like, there is no better way. You're forced to meet people in the best way possible. So definitely would recommend it if you can.
And I think like the other thing about the on-campus accommodation is that it's on campus. Like if you haven't been to the campus before, all the accommodation is like centrally located right on the campus, like pretty much like 10 minutes walk from like the CBD, but also like the actual like where your classes are. A lot of the time it's just like across a couple of streets, so it's not far, and it just makes that really easy. That initial navigation of Canberra is so centrally located that you just like it's just all right there for you. So just definitely, I think the ease of it is really what.
Yeah, it's really like just a great transition process. Like I've now moved off campus this year, and I think I would have been really overwhelmed trying to move straight out into like the rental market. Like I've had 3 years to get to know Canberra. I've watched friends go through this process.
And you were able to make some good friends to move out
exactly.
with as well.
Yeah, and you people I was moving out with. So yes, definitely we would recommend it if you have the opportunity to. We'll jump on to the next. Oh, so slightly connected question. I think I'm the only one who can sort of answer this one. Yeah. This question is, do you recommend accommodation that includes catering? What is the food like? And as you say, it is a very important consideration. You know, you're going to be eating there for several years. You don't want to go hungry. So I did live at a catered residence. I lived at Bruce Hall for 3 years. And that was, part of my decision to sort of one less thing to worry about when I moved away from home. Food was good. Yeah, we had a couple of different catering groups across the years, and it was fine. Always there were so many options to pick from. You can always make salads and wraps, and you can have hot breakfast and cold breakfast. Like the choices were amazing. And as someone with allergies as well, it was something I was a bit worried about. But they managed all that really well too. So dietary requirements, all catered for, all looked after. So yes, catering, thumbs up. It's all, pretty good. And they're also really receptive to feedback. So we'd have like sit down discussions with our catering company. So they'd sort of let us know what we want more of, what we didn't like. And that was really good. It was like a really dynamic relationship.
It was really convenient for you too, wasn't it?
So
like especially like if you could sort of like work around like you could take meals with you and stuff.
I could pick up meals like in the morning and take them with me, or I could just work around schedules and trainings and things that go late. So always had food available. You never went hungry, which was good. So don't worry about the food. It's a thumbs up. Unless you were catered.
What was your experience of self-catered?
Yeah, I was self-catered. I really liked it because like, so when I moved out of home, I barely knew how to cook, and so like I was nervous about that. But then like you learn pretty quickly. Like in my first year, I think I had like a couple of meals that like I would cook regularly. But now like, should I go on MasterChef? I don't know. Like I feel like I know how to cook pretty well now, which is nice. And like yeah, like that's probably the advantage of self-catered, and then
Yeah.
that you can kind of cook what you want, like eat when you want, you know, like if you want, you can just like fry an egg at like 2 a.m. in the morning and like
get some friends over and like have dinner together.
Yeah.
And that's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Let's go to the next one. So this question is from Tiffany. Thanks, Tiffany. Have any of you had the opportunity to do foreign exchanges, and if so, would you recommend it? Hitting us.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Zoe.
So Emma and I can speak a little bit to this. I don't know, Max, if you've done any.
I did a short course, but not.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
so we've all done short courses. So short courses are like a 2-ish week program. I think yours was 3.
That was 3, yeah.
And it's pretty much you get to do one of your courses overseas. So I had planned to do exchange last year, but obviously COVID had a different plan for me. But essentially, yes, it's an excellent opportunity. There's heaps of scholarship opportunities. So that's what we call our ANU global programs. Global programs offer short courses where you do like an ANU course overseas. So my course was in Myanmar, and we were looking at the transition to a democracy. So obviously, like I was very lucky to have gone at a more peaceful time, but it was really valuable. Like I've never had the chance to do first-person research before, and that was amazing and really sparked an interest for me for something that I didn't think I was interested in. So probably before that trip, I didn't think I would want to do something like an honours program, which is like a research program at the end of your degree. If you're not sure what honours is, it's something that you can have a look at online. And that's not something that I ever considered until I did that course, and I really enjoyed the research. So that was really awesome, really great like funding, as I said, which has really made a big difference to me and my ability to do that. So yes, if you are interested in doing something overseas, or even within Australia, there's also programs that do that. Global programs, if you just Google ANU global programs, it comes up with all the different options. We've had friends that have gone all over the world, so it's definitely huge. I don't know, Emma, do you want to talk about your experience?
Yeah, sure. Similar, I did a short course as well, so that was an ANU course overseas. Mine was 3 weeks I spent in Vietnam, and that was awesome. That was a field school studies course, so we were just kind of meeting people and learning about culture and things like that, which was awesome. Lots of flexibility to kind of study what you want. But I also looked at going on exchange, well, I was actually probably going to be there this semester or last semester. Fortunately, as I said, COVID wasn't on our side, but that's okay.
Where were you hoping to go?
I was looking to go, so many different places. You have so many options.
So many choices.
I was looking to go to kind of Scandinavia, so
Yeah,
Sweden,
nice.
Denmark, Norway, but also like Hawaii.
That's so cool. I had my heart set on Singapore.
Yeah.
That was where I really wanted to go.
But luckily we know people who have gone on exchange.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to speak on their experience,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say they absolutely loved it. They highly recommended it. Yes, I think you have over 150 global partners to pick from at ANU. So you can pick a country, you can pick an area of study that you love, and you can take that with you. I've actually had a few friends who have gone and studied a different language as well. And I think that sounds pretty awesome. You probably may have even done that with some of your languages. But oh my gosh, imagine doing university in a language. That'd be awesome.
Very inspirational.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, that's what I always wanted to do. I wanted to go to Italy and go to an Italian university and like,
So nice.
but yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it, but I think I'll just see how I go with my degree. And I guess with COVID, I've still got a couple of years left. So the short course I did, it was in 2019 at the end of my second year, and I was able to go to Rome for about 3 weeks, and we got to like, what did we study? So it was a mixture of like film studies and history and like just like culture, like we also got to like, you know, just like study like Italian migration and just really like go on like little field trips to like the suburbs and stuff and see how people lived, and like you didn't really just get this like touristy perspective of like this place you go to. And I imagine it's the same from Zoe and Emma. Like you can't like, I kind of lived like a local for a bit, you know, like which was like fantastic. And I guess one of the things I did utilize, I took out an OSL loan, and so I got about like $7,000, and like I was like able to like, you know, pay the course fee and like, you know, pay for flights and accommodation. And on top of that, I also received a grant to go from the College of Arts and Social Sciences. And that was like a little cherry on top, you know, that was just so nice. And like, and being able to go overseas, not really worry about money, that was probably one of the best things. Cause like, I was like, even when I got back, I was like, oh wow, I've actually kind of still got some savings, which is great. So
Yeah. Because I was on a scholarship too for my trip.
So I was going to kind of drop in there. We can briefly talk about the New Colombo plan as well, which if you want to go on exchange or some sort of overseas program to a country within the Asia Pacific region, there are Australian government supported scholarships to help you get there. So I think, Zoe and I both went on our field courses and we got $3,000 grants to help us pay for flights and course fees to get us to our destination. But there's also, the New Colombo program, which a lot of AU students do as well. And before we jump on to the next questions, thank you all for your questions. Keep them coming. Awesome. They're great. We'll try and keep our answers a bit short so we can get through them all. Just going to quickly mention as well, year in Asia, which is something that some students will choose to add on to their degree as well, where you get to spend a year in an Asian country. Pretty sure I don't know if it's of your choice or don't know too many of the details about it, but it sounds like a really, really awesome program. Cool. I know a couple of people who did it. And
if you're really dying to get overseas, obviously as soon as we can, you should check out the Primo courses, which are designed for first and second year students, which are a really good opportunity too. But they're all on global programs, and I think the global programs link is in the chat.
And global programs team are lovely, so if you have any questions, just send them an email and they're more than happy to help. Let's jump through because questions are rolling in. Was the change from high school to university regarding workload and amount of people in your lectures a big change? To take this
do you want to start, because I'm assuming that it might have been a bit of a change for you.
Like I guess coming from a country town, it was a huge change because there was only about 70 people in my year group, and so coming to ANU, there was so many people and it was a little bit overwhelming, but obviously having the support networks, with except for ANU, there's a first year experience program, which is tailored for students who've come from untraditional backgrounds, as well as, if you're on campus seeking support from a senior residence. But in terms of workload, I found since I was doing languages, it was a bit more hectic, but I think it just varies from degree to degree, honestly. And that's what I'd say. So what do you both think?
It's been 4 years since high school. I'm trying to remember what the workload was like.
I think the biggest thing I noticed was that I got to control my timetable. So I didn't have to be in the classroom from 9 till 3:30, Monday through to Friday. I had the flexibility to decide when I wanted to study and when I wanted to work or play sport or do extracurricular activities or just spend time with my friends or family. And I think that's sort of what made the transition easier. Although it is a transition, absolutely, I think that flexibility to self-determine really influences how you, how I at least was able to approach uni, and it just made that sort of nicer for me. So I didn't have to be in a classroom every single day of the week. I would put maybe a couple of classes on one day, and then I'd just have an independent study day a different day. I know everyone likes to work out their timetable differently depending on how they study best, but that's what I found worked for me. I think that really helped with the transition, was just sort of that freedom to manage. I know that I work really well in the morning, so I would study a lot in the mornings, whereas it would come really early to campus.
High school's just a bit more structured.
And I sometimes miss that structure, keeping me in line, but it is quite a nice thing to have. And for lecture sizes, it really varies. Don't be put off in your first year, keeping in mind that first year courses are usually an introduction. So there's lots of students wanting to learn that introductory stuff, and then as you break out into your area or your specialization or of your degree, they become much smaller. So some of my language classes were tiny in comparison to my first year courses, but you'll always have your tutorials too, which actually have we hold a one of the best quotas for student to teacher ratios in your tutorial groups, which are a bit more a smaller class. So I like to think of the lecture as the content delivery, and that's when you are there with everyone, and it's kind of just you get all the material and then you go into the tutorial to discuss. So that's kind of I don't know, at the end of your English class, when you're discussing with your class what you've learned. That's what a tutorial is kind of like. So, and those are capped. So I don't think I've ever been in a tutorial more than 20. And usually much smaller than that. And even over COVID and stuff, class sizes were always kept small, so that you get that time to actually chat with your lecturer. Because sometimes things are brand new to you. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't study in high school or what I do now. So I had lots of learning to do, and like I needed that time to talk to someone about what it is, and even things like learning how to write in a university way, like having that, referencing and stuff like that, where you have the opportunity to actually spend time with the lecturer or your tutor to actually discuss, which is really important. But yeah, I don't know, what about you?
Science, it's a bit different because most of your contact hours, that's the time spent doing your subject, your degree, are actually spent on campus. So I suspect Zoe and Max have a fair few time that they have to spend reading articles and books and things like that. I do spend a lot more time in a physical learning environment, so in a lab or out in the field doing field work. So I've actually found that I've really enjoyed, I mean, it can be a fair amount of work, and if you've got 4 lab courses in one semester, then you do sort of find yourself, you're in the lab quite a bit and in class a lot, but it's really enjoyable because it's what you've picked to study and it's why you're here at university. So you get to meet all the other people in your course who are interested in the same thing. And so I found that it hasn't been, I wouldn't say it's a big increase or decrease from high school. I'd say it's like quite similar, but it is different. It's just a different way of learning. It's a different structure in your timetable. You know, you do 12, you have a semester that's about 14 weeks long, and then you have your winter break and your summer break, and that can be like from a month to 3 months long. So the semesters themselves can be at times quite intense because you've got a lot going on, assessments and things to do, but there's lots of breaks and it's really enjoyable. This is what you want to do. And just kind of a note on amount of people as well. I sort of didn't find it a huge issue. My school had 240 people in a year level, so that's kind of the most I've ever had in one course. And in science, we don't do as many things like tutorials, but I've still got lab groups of between 30 to 80 people, and you get to meet people and you're there every week. So you really do get to know the people that you're in a course with. And also I go on field trips. So you go on field trips with like 20 people, which is awesome because you get to meet everyone.
Yeah, you just came back from the Great Barrier Reef.
I did. I just luckily snuck in a trip to the Great Barrier Reef for a coral reef field studies course. So if that's something you're interested in, have a look at it. Okay, we're going to try and speed up through some of these. I think this is going to be a great question for Zoe since she went through this. Question is it easy to defer an offered place and take a gap year, including what if you have a scholarship, and can that also be deferred? Okay,
so deferral, yes, that is something that is relatively easy to do because Amy understands that sometimes you need a break after you finish studying, even if it's just to work out sort of what your interests are. But what I do recommend is that you still apply, even if you know you're going to take some time off, even if you don't know, you can apply. And then once you receive your offer, you actually have to accept that offer, and then you can defer your place. So at the moment, you can't defer your accommodation or scholarships. You'll need to reapply for those if you are deferring your program. So just make sure that you look at like the conditions of your scholarship and of accommodation at the time. That's really important when you are making that decision. But I mean, the deferral process itself, pretty much all you have to do is press accept, and then it prompts you to then you are prompted to like a form to defer, and you just put in your details and that you're deferring and why. And I just got an email that said, thanks for letting us know. We'll email you in November to let you know how to enroll in your classes. And pretty much I got an email the next November and about how to, fill in the forms that I needed to do to register and how to pick my classes and that sort of stuff. And so that was just like such an easy process for me. And I was really glad that took so much pressure off me to try and like apply while I was like on a gap year, that I could just apply, defer, leave it, and then I knew I was coming back to something. And that's something really great about ANU is that it was just there for me when I got back, and that it didn't matter. I just could start studying then, and it was great. And got to meet some really cool friends. Pretty good there and here, and yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you covered that whole process very, very well. So we can jump on to the next. Actually, I'll quickly mention one thing as well. Condition of deferral means that you don't undertake any study in that year.
Yeah.
So if you're deferring, that's sort of like to work or to go traveling. If you're looking at kind of deferring because you're not sure which university you're kind of going for, note that a condition of deferring is that you don't undertake any tertiary study during that year or 6 months off. I'm just going to quickly scroll down and answer one question. Maisie, your question about is this session going to be recorded? I do believe I can see a little red recording button. So yes, it'll be uploaded. I think there's a YouTube channel they get uploaded to, and you can watch them later on. Let's go back up to the top of the list. So what is sporting like on campus?
I feel like you've had a pretty big experience with that.
We'll go to the arts in a bit. I'll do sport and you can do arts. How's that? Yeah, okay. Sporting on campus, great, really good. You kind of can do it at lots of different levels. So you can do it at your hall or residence level if you live on campus. So you can play sports for your college. There's 4 sports run per term. There's 2 terms per semester. So you can do everything from ultimate frisbee to volleyball to soccer, AFL, hockey, lawn bowls is even in there. So yeah, that's a really good option if you're living on campus, and it's all come and track. So it's just give it a go. Then the next level you've got is kind of ANU sport, sort of general level, and that's like there's lots of clubs for basically every sport. There's a Quidditch club, so you can join one of those clubs, and they might train 1 or 2 days a week, and maybe playing competitions. Depends on kind of whether you're interested in social or high level kind of sport. So yeah, plenty of different opportunities available there. We've got great sporting facilities.
So we've got like 2 gyms on campus, including swimming pool, and there's also a gym close by there's like a couple of different gyms close by as well, if that's sort of what you're looking for. I pretty much, lots of sporting ovals. I sport on all the time. I pretty much came straight from my like high school rowing program into the ANU rowing program, but then I've also played like a lot of like social sport that's not directly affiliated with ANU, just run like on campus or nearby with ANU students. So kind of depends what level. I think what Emma was really touching on is it depends what level you're looking for, but there's heaps here. ANU sport is where you should look. It's pretty much if you do ANU sport, or there's probably going to be a link, is pretty much lists every club that you can be a part of while you're at ANU, as well as info about the gyms, which is really, really useful for you to get an idea.
But yeah, sporting is really good on campus, and yeah, very much recommend getting involved. I've met a lot of my lovely friends through playing sport. But just to kind of, Max, what have you been involved in while you've lived on campus?
So, I did not do any sports because that is not my cup of tea. But basically, so while living on campus, I was able to participate in a musical, like with my residential hall, and that was really fun. And then I was also on the Inter-Hall Arts Committee. And so basically this committee actually organized like arts events like throughout the entire year. So like there was like a dance night, there was a battle with the bands, which is like called Big Night Out. It's probably one of the
best nights of the year.
Yeah, and so I was part of the organizing committee for that, and that was it was so fun to organize and seeing every like residential hall like having a band and just playing songs and the crowds going wild. It was like one of my like favorite experiences. And like other events, like they do like chess, they do poetry slam, they do like theatre sports and like spelling bee. Yeah, so much. So yeah, like, and yeah, ANU does have like a big variety of like arts events as well. And there's also other separate societies as well. So there's like, I know there's like a Shakespeare Society, I think, yeah. And like, also like, I guess like those kind of societies also put on their own musicals and plays. And people who like, if you don't have any experience in that, you can go audition and like, yeah, have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so.
I think I should probably also mention though with like both of these things that if you are someone who will be living off campus, either you're from Canberra or you're going to be living sort of nearby, there is a hall that you can join. That's not it's not a residential hall, but it participates in all these things. So if that's something that you're interested in, that's called Griffin Hall. But yeah, that's probably.
Yep. All right. I'm just going to jump to this one just because I hopefully we can kind of knock it off a little bit quicker. Someone's asking what the weather is like in Canberra. And yes, the beach thing is, we all wish we could pick Canberra up because we love Canberra and move it close to the beach. In terms of the weather, well, let's ask the local. She's lived here her whole life.
Yeah, so Canberra's a bit of, it varies a lot. Like today it's pretty warm, but it started off pretty cold. So mornings and nights, pretty icy. But during the day, it gets really nice and warm. I am a big lover of studying outside. So most of the year I can still study outside. And because it's like ANU set up so that you can plug your laptop in outside and stuff like that, which is something that I really enjoy. And so I think like as long as you have like a warm coat, you'll be fine. It's not like, I mean, everywhere inside the ANU is like heated or cooled. So depending on the weather, like you're going to be fine. And like all the residences are all controlled. So you'll be all right.
My favourite thing about Canberra weather coming from Melbourne is not only its consistency, but also it's sunny like all the time.
Yeah.
Melbourne likes to be a bit grey and dreary, but Canberra, it's just, even when it's really cold in winter,
Blue sky.
Blue sky. It's beautiful. There's these foggy mornings and you go to class and you're all rugged up and there's like fog sitting on the campus. You come out of your lecture and there's like this beautiful blue sky.
Yeah.
You just feel happy. So nice.
Yeah.
On the beach one though, can get to the beach 2 hours.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do just kind of go to the beach on the weekends. The Canberra commute to the south coast is a common one. So yes, we all love the beach and we all wish it was closer, but it isn't actually too far away. You're 2 hours from the mountains, 2 hours from the beach, 2 hours from kind of like the regional sort of agricultural west. So yeah, you've got all these different environments very close to you, which is good. Do you want to jump in?
I guess one of the things I did want to add, because I guess obviously like I'm from like a coastal town, so I was like, no, there's no beach, but like there's like a couple of swimming holes in the, I think it's the Murrumbidgee River, and basically they've actually it's like a little like sandy kind of beach, like obviously no waves, not salt water, but like that's also really fun. Like I went to like one of like the water holes for Christmas. And like that was so fun. I got really burnt, but that's okay because of the sun. But
As soon as the weather heats up, Canberra just go to the water. We find water and we go to it. So yes, the weather is pretty good. Let's go to talk a little bit about degree admin. This is a question: can you enroll in a single degree and then turn it into a double after your first year? Short answer: yes. You can. Likewise, you can do a double degree and turn it into a single degree. That's why they're called flexible double degrees. You can mix and match and change it around all you like. Every semester you can change.
Add, swap, drop.
Just swap, drop.
Pretty much as soon as you have your first semester, you can apply if you realise that there's something else. And that's why it's so flexible, is because sometimes, and I know it's probably true of your degrees too, that sometimes you do one subject in an area and you go, oh, this is what I'm actually here for. Like, I want to do more of this. So you'll swap your degree to be able to do that. And internal transfers are just such a great option to keep your options open. If you're not quite sure what you want to commit to, it's just something, and a lot of the time it doesn't add time to your degree. So yes, absolutely answer that question.
Yeah. The next one we've got is, what is our role? So I guess it's kind of, how did we end up where we are today? Are we student ambassadors and how did we get it? Good question. I was already thinking 2 steps ahead. Max, do you know?
Yeah, so basically I'm a student ambassador and I also work within the Future Students team. So I've been a student ambassador since the end of my first year. And so when I applied at least, I applied in like October of 2018 and I found out like next month. It was like a really like simple application and and then I've started working the Future Students of Inquiries team like this year, and it's been fun. So I think you just have to keep your eyes peeled, like look on like the ANU careers websites and ANU like jobs and stuff. So yeah, and also making those connections at uni, because I feel like a lot of people actually also discover like their jobs and stuff through like mutual friends. So
yeah.
I think you really touched on a really great resource as well. If you are like kind of not sure what going from like school to like being like, oh, I probably would need to work while I'm at uni. ANU Jobs and ANU Careers Hub are excellent resources from everything from learning how to put together your resume properly, advice on like what makes a good cover letter, what to look for in jobs, plus jobs in the local community, all posted there. Just a really great resource, including not just like at ANU, but also like nearby or like on campus, like businesses that are on campus. Jobs for students are advertised there. So definitely have a look there if you are thinking, oh, I'll probably need a job. That's where you should go. So thanks for covering that one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So just to kind of me touch on this a little bit, there was another question, which is, do we have jobs? Was it difficult to find them moving into state? I guess jobs, great in terms of just paying the bills, but also getting experience in different areas. I mean, I think initially maybe it was a bit difficult, like for me to kind of find a job just because I was a little bit overworked. I was like, I've already moved to a new city. I got to go out and find a job. Like, where do I start looking? And it was sort of, there's civics right near ANU, so that's like our city centre. They basically runs off the student cohort. So there's a lot of turnover in jobs. So you just kind of have to have a rough idea of maybe what you're sort of interested in doing and just reach out. I know a lot of people who actually came with jobs. So they either sort of gotten a transfer from like their home city or town, or they just looked in advance. And they'd sent in their resumes, they'd called up, they'd got in touch. And sometimes you just have to just get in touch with somebody and just say, just got to put yourself out there. And just say, hey, I'm looking for work. Let me know if you have anything available. May not always be the area or the thing that you really want to do straight away. I know a lot of people who, probably going to go on and do some amazing things in their life, but they're happy working in a cafe or retail for now, just to sort of like help them settle into Canberra, but also pay bills and things. And then kind of as you progress through your degree, I sort of find people start to look more and more for jobs relating to what they study. Like I just started working in like a lab, which is something that I might be doing further on in my career. I've got friends in law doing paralegal type jobs. You sort of have to, you figure out as you go along, you kind of take on your opportunities as they present themselves. But biggest bit of advice is if you're going to move into state and looking for work, is just put yourself out there, do your research, and just
I think also think about what you like a lot of the stuff that you do at home, like you can probably translate into a job here. Things like private tutors, like if you're a maths tutor at your school, like that's definitely something that you could do when you're here, that I know a lot of people do. Pretty much there's heaps of cafes, there's a lot of coffee around campus. So a lot of cafes are staffed by students and businesses, and then like Emma was saying, then you get more specific. I've had like 4 jobs I think since I've started uni, just like random things, trying them out, everything from coaching to admin to reception, sports coaching. Like if you play sport, there's absolutely probably a team here for you to coach. So just sort of like looking for those sort of opportunities, usually just thinking outside of the box, but if you're looking, like it's gonna be something that you can find.
Right, we'll try and keep these next couple short. Have classes been face-to-face or online due to COVID restrictions? A mixture. We've kind of gone through a full evolution over the past year. There definitely was a time when we sort of had to shut down everything on campus and convert everything to online study, but luckily things are going well now. So ANU is currently doing a hybrid model of learning. So for students who are around Canberra or can come and attend classes in campus, classes on campus, there are some things that you can go to. I'm able to go back into labs and do field work again. My tutes and things are in person, but all my lectures are all still online and recorded. And if you're not in Canberra, you're sort of happy, want to be at home, can't come to Canberra or overseas for various reasons, you are able to take fully online learning. So it's kind of a great actually period of time. It's really flexible, suits what you need in your life, but that's kind of where we're at the moment.
I think because Canberra's been so safe, it's just like, it's quite lucky to be able to do this. And I think also like if you are sort of like a little bit apprehensive about like the online idea, it's probably, I'd probably describe it more as like virtual learning. So a lot of the time you're being like zoomed in with your lecturer. So like it's like an online meeting rather than just like pre-recorded content thrown at you, which I think makes a big difference too to the sort of.
I think it's worth just giving a little, sorry Max, if you know, think of it. Sort of mentioned all the hard work that all the teaching staff have done to actually make their content still quite engaging. Like I have had some awesome experiences still doing remote learning. So they've really tried very hard to make it still engaging. And something I loved about my degree is the contact I have with my academic teaching staff, and they still know my name from first year and things like that, which is awesome. And they've really tried to keep up that community and that sense of giving students a place of belonging and purpose, even with the virtual learning that's been happening. Do you want to add anything or move on?
No, let's just move on.
Okay, cool. Is the work experience course program opportunity in Parliament still available? So we've had a couple of questions about kind of internships and work experience. So Max, do you want to have anything to kind of, have you had any experiences through your degree or opportunities available to you?
I've had opportunities available to me. I haven't really taken them as of yet. Obviously, so we do have the Australian National University Internship Program. So basically you can intern at like a variety of like government and non-government organizations. Like one of my like friends, she's actually like interning at Parliament right now, which is fantastic. And then like, yeah, like there's also other internship opportunities available. Like my housemate actually, she started an internship with the College of Business and Economics. So she's actually working with like policymakers in economics. I'm not sure exactly what she's doing because I really talked to her much about it, but really cool opportunities you can actually undertake while being at ANU.
Yeah, so like I'm in the process of applying for it now because it's included in a lot of degrees. So specifically my degree is included. And yeah, embassies, Parliament, government departments, non-profits. So they try and essentially what the program is designed to do is to set you up with an area of your interest, and they want to sort of tailor it to you so that you're gaining the most you can from it. So yes, there's definitely opportunities within your degree to do that sort of stuff.
From kind of a general, so science is a little bit different. It's not as much of a required component. Like you say, the Australian National Interest Program is like basically part of the degree. Science, it's more sort of, it's either included within a course or you can access science internships separately. So we get emails and they come out a lot. They can be a little competitive, but they're really awesome experience, even just applying. And if you get them, they're great. And they are from everywhere and anything from science communication to remote sensing to sort of laboratory-based work. There's a massive range of opportunities available. My kind of experience with that has been it's come through courses. So like actual academics who are teaching my courses have partnerships with groups, and then we get to access them through the course. So I've worked with Mulligan's Flat and Tidbinbilla, the nature reserves to help with conservation and things, and done policy projects with different departments as well. So yeah, it's a little different for every degree. Our engineering and computer science, it's kind of also, they've got streams for internships as well as our business and economics. And you do have addressed the art and social science ones pretty well. So yeah, it really does depend on what you want to study, but there are plenty of opportunities available. And if you want also those kind of connections, ask your academics, send them an email, see who they know. And
heaps of like networking opportunities on campus.
Yeah.
That are run by like clubs and societies where you can actually like go and meet someone to that offer, like they offer internships. So make the most of those.
Yeah, just become friends with your tutors. Like honestly, like now I now wish I used my first year to actually gain those connections. Like obviously with like some of my language courses, I actually am having like the same lecturers and tutors teaching me. Like for instance, like I do Italian and I have literally had the same Italian teacher for like 6-7 semesters in a row. So like I know him pretty well. Even this, like especially like if you do well in a course and you just engage, like I've had tutors literally when lecturers rock up to me like, oh hi Max, and then I feel like really honored, like oh they remembered my name, and like it's and like you can use them to be academic references as well, which is fantastic. So, yeah.
All right, let's jump on into the last question, I reckon, for the day. So the question is it easy to meet people or friends in your first year? So what was it like living at home and trying to meet people?
So it's definitely different because you're not around people all day, every day. But that being said, and like, so at first I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to meet friends? Like no one, especially like, because I had taken a gap year, like my friends are all sort of the year above me, which didn't really matter because you still hang out with them. And you get like a lot of crossover in your classes. However, in my very first shoot on my very first day, I met my best friend. And so like we've just gone like traveling together recently and stuff like that, which is so nice because you just are surrounded by people who share your interests or have like common, like love common things. And that's how you really make those close friends. And like you're friends because you really like each other. So yeah, it's again, like what we've kind of like mentioned throughout is like you do have to put yourself out there. And it's what you make of it. But my closest friends have come from, my tutes. And like even now we try and like work our schedules out so that we're in the same classes and stuff, just because it's more fun that way and to study together. But also through trips. That's how I've made most of my friends, and working here obviously. We're all really now we're all tight. But some of my closest friends I've made have been through these, and like it's awesome. Like, and then like everyone kind of ends up knowing each other, and so you just have like this really awesome group of people to be surrounded by, which is really supportive because you're all kind of going through the same stuff as well. So I don't know, I think uni friendships, like, yeah, definitely what you make of it. And you do, like, it is a little bit of work of like putting yourself out there and like trying to make friends and getting involved. But like, just if you keep that in mind, then it seems easy. Yeah, I don't know, what did you find?
Max, moving from a small town to a big city and living on campus?
Yeah, I was really nervous about making friends. I was just like, oh, what if no one likes me? And like, but like, the thing is, you have to consider, I think my one bit of advice is that like, oh, what is it? My brain's not working now. So my one bit of advice is that you should just, you know, like, yeah, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And just really just like try to meet people, and like everyone's in the same boat as you. All the first years are all in the same boat. Everyone wants to make friends. Everyone wants to have like a little friendship group. No one wants to be alone. And just like, even like if you're living on campus or off campus, you know, if you do attend a social event, just say hi to someone, like,
Yeah.
and like it'll be fine, you know. And like you could literally meet like good friends that way just by like saying hello, how are you, what do you study, and it's just easy.
That's like how we became friends, is we met through a class and then saw each other at a social event later on for one of the colleges, and became friends that way. So it's pretty much just sort of like saying hi again after you see someone once. If you say hi a second time, you generally tend to become friends.
Yeah.
I don't know, Emma, what did you find it?
Like I kind of mentioned before, I guess living on campus kind of forced to make friends like, in the best way. Because so when you move in, there's like kind of prepped program for you, so you can do all these events instead of orientation week, and I think that now there's like several weeks prior to that where there's events running. So I just found going to those, I met all the people in my hall where I was living, and that was awesome. Like I already had like 5-10 names sort of within the first like 2 hours, and I was like, oh, and I'm still really good friends with a lot of those people today, which is awesome. But I think, yeah, my kind of piece of advice is, like Max said, everyone's worried about it. Just get involved. Just whether that's in your hall, so whether that's getting involved in the sports events, sort of we had like dumpling making nights, movie nights, everything like that. Just get involved. You never know who you're going to sit next to, I guess. Yeah. And then in terms of sort of going to class as well, a bit different with the whole COVID and everyone's kind of separated, but I know that they've tried to put some sort of meet and greet online activities as well, but just going to class, I've got a lot of friends now that I study with in my degree, and they're great friends. And then just getting involved in societies and sports and activities and things. Getting involved in student politics, if that's your thing, getting involved in the student radio, just kind of, if something sounds interesting, just get involved. I was quite sort of apprehensive in my first year. I was like, oh, you know, they're all really good at this sport. I can't play it. Now I play that sport, and I look at it back and I'm like, I just wish everyone could join. Like, it's such a nice, friendly atmosphere. And you never know where your really good friends are going to pop up.
Yeah.
So you have to just put yourself into situations where you have the chance to meet them.
Yeah. And I guess like it's also such a small world. Like I'm like I actually in orientation week I went on a like little campus tour with the College of Asia Pacific, and I just saw foot and I was like walking really slowly at the end, and so one of the girls who's organizing was actually like walking with me, which was nice. And we found out that her uncle like taught at my high school. And so she was also the president of the Regional Rural Remote Student Society. And then she was like, hey, we're looking for first year reps, do it. And then I joined, and then I met like some of my closest friends at uni. So it's all about circumstance. Like, yeah.
And you just never know. So
like Amy just has such community focus, which is why we like to see like what you've been doing at high school, like doing co-curriculars and stuff like that, is because ANU has such a strong community focus, and that is to be able to facilitate opportunities for friendship. Like there's all these clubs and societies that exist to be able to sort of help you and to make you feel really comfortable and like you're thriving when you're at uni. So I think that's like, and it's such a big thing at ANU as being part of the community. So I mean,
the other great kind of point connected to that is we are a relatively small university if you compare us to particularly a lot of the other kind of top universities in Australia and the world, which I think really works in our favour. It really does help give us that community feel. It means you go to class, you go to the next class, it's the same people. You get to sit next to them in class, in lectures, and you really get to know their face and their name, connect with them, and then you've got coffee, and suddenly 3 years later, like the rest is history. so that small university, that teaching ratio of staff to students in class is fantastic. It's all just part of the environment. There are now parts of campus I have to avoid because I'm like, I don't want to, I'm in a rush.
Yeah,
I can't see anyone. I need to go the other way because I don't want to run into anyone.
Yeah.
So everyone worries about it at the beginning. All three of us have been there, and now here we are today, several years down the track. And I guess everyone tells you not to worry, but yeah, from our experience, it all works out in the end. So I think that's the last question we've got, and that wraps us up kind of at nearly 5 o'clock. So I just want to thank you all for coming. It was really lovely that you could join us, and everyone watching back, thanks for checking in. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact, we have a future students team at ANU. All three of us do work there, as well as many other current students. So feel free to give us a call. We're available from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The phone number is 1-800-620-032. Really should know that by now. I've worked here long enough. Or if you search us online, if there's ever a contact us button, you're going to get to the future students team. There'll be other webinars coming to you every Wednesday, 4 p.m. So feel free to check those out. And we hope to see you all on campus next year.
Thanks so much for coming, guys.
See ya.